one more time for the VoD. Welcome, everyone. I am Phreak. I'm with Zirene. Say hello, good sir.
Hello, good sir.
You did the same joke. I love it. Uh, and we are doing a VoD review of Coast versus Renegades because we thought that being a battle of the two undefeated challenger teams, it deserved its sort of special heyday. And because this game wasn't broadcast normally, we wanted to do a VoD review. This will not be a cast. It'll be much more mellow, and we'll talk about our opinions on things much more than we would
Yeah.
normally in a cast. Oh well. So getting into picks and bans, this is after everyone's swapped. You can see the bans normally. This was first pick Rise. You had mentioned, Zyrene, that it was Rek'Sai Nautilus as the first pick's red
Yep.
side.
Yep.
And then blue side went Lee Sin Sivir.
Yep.
And then red side, what was, I guess red side, what did they last pick essentially?
I think they last picked the Victor for Alex each.
Okay, so they went Maokai Rek'Sai, sorry, Maokai Callista.
Hmm.
And then Coast grabbed Rom and Oriana. Okay.
Yeah.
So first pick Rise. Rise is like the best champion in the game, in my opinion, probably.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to respect him a whole lot. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead.
It was a
Sorry.
it was a cool little strategy by RNG because it was you either take the Rek'Sai first and then we get Rise, or you take Rise and we get Rek'Sai, and then Shrimp is left with Evelyn from what we've seen from him. But the fact that he had Lee Sin up his sleeve really just threw a wrench into all that. So I do think that RNG they had a strat coming in, but they got a little bit outdrafted here slightly, and also the fact that Sivir went over a little bit later, so that you were able to get Rise and Sivir on the same team, and then the counterpick to Sivir is really weak right now. Like Callista's auto attacks are
Mm-hmm.
are lackluster, and I don't know what's going on with her E at the moment, but like she feels really clunky. So I
Yeah.
don't think she's like as amazing of a pick as she was before.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, the thing is, Callista was like literally the best AD carry in the game as far as competitive players were concerned. And even in Challenger this week, she was also banned every single game. So like literally every competitive data point we have points to Callista still being worth playing. We could choose to disagree with that, but as far as the data is concerned and players' preferences are concerned, we're still seeing Callista. So occasionally the lag's behind, occasionally they're accurate. We'll see. All right, so overall comp-wise, basically it looks like to me Coast have a comp that makes Rise work. I like that Sivir gives them movement speed. They just have a bunch of like decent engage, right? Like Sivir, Oriana, Braum, like all start fights well, and you just have three damage dealers in the back line. It seems like a pretty default team fight comp. Their actual engage is like almost mediocre because it's really telegraphed, right? Like Sivir ults, and you're like, okay, she's gonna walk at us, and there's no like flash Tibbers, there's no Nautilus ulti, there's no like submarine Shen. So it's like telegraphed engage from Coast makes like picking fights a little bit difficult, in my opinion. But like the actual team fight's really strong from them.
Yeah, just because you have Sivir, you can always really start those fights, and if Shrimp
Yeah,
lands some Qs and kicks
yeah.
people back,
I just
he'll be
anything
fine.
that's not a hardcore stun though has disengage potential.
Yeah,
Is all. Like that's to me the switch off of like they can't for sure start every fight. They are likely to, but they can't guarantee they get the fight they want. Is all I'm going for here. Without a
I
point and
gotcha.
click stun. That to me is an important factor. There's no
Okay.
Sejuani, there's no Nautilus, there's no
Yeah,
Shen.
there's no really hard engage. Yeah,
Yeah.
like absolutely somebody's going to die, but
Right.
you can pop the Sivir
Which I
ulti.
think is relevant.
Okay.
Um, okay, meanwhile, Renegades comp. So they thought they could kind of pick the Rise. That was Maokai the choice there. Um, they have uh, almost as good team fight power, I mean, maybe, right? Like, so there's Rise on one side for damage, but you have Victor and Maokai, who are both very good team fighters, on the other. Nautilus, I would argue, can be a better team fighter than Braum, but I would say it's kind of close. We've seen Braum really gain popularity. Um, I just feel like Renegade's comp is not as good. It just
Mm,
feels like a worse version of Coast's composition.
yeah.
Unless you win, like unless you think Maokai beats Rise, unless you get Callista to beat Sivir. I mean, Victor is theoretically better than Oriana. I mean, Victor does a lot of damage. Like they, so the thing is, Renegades have pick potential, right? They have
Yeah.
Victor Burst, they have Nautilus ulti, and they have Maokai Home Guard TPs, all of which are very good, and they have Crumbs as well for flash knockup. So like Renegades are better. I would say they're better at picking their fights. You could argue that though, um, but I would say in an all-out brawl where you just might meet 5v5, I think Coast is better.
Yeah, I agree. And Coast even had more options too. Like they could have picked this Shen support here instead of a Braum as well.
Yeah, I'm
Like there's
surprised we didn't see
well,
that.
I feel, but I think the big part of it is you just look at the two damage dealers, and it's Victor and Callista, and Brahm's just going to shut down their damage as a whole. For
Yeah.
at least Callista.
Yeah,
So
I
it'll
mean,
be good.
Braum allows you to make sure you have a front line. Like, Braum is way tankier than Shen, right? And Braum makes sure that when you have 3 squishes at the back line, they stay alive.
Yeah, but the fact they had the options, they could really just when they got to that part of the champion select, they were okay.
Yeah, I guess that's why they saved the Braum pick for later. Okay.
Yep.
We're good on champ select?
Yep. I'm
Okay.
good.
All right, I'm going to switch my feeds over then. So I am at exactly, let's see, I'm going to make sure this is running on time. Yeah, okay. I'm going to pause at 15 seconds on the VoD.
15?
15. Just
Okay.
basically when the base gates drop, right? Seems like a decent time to start. Let me actually make
Oh my god.
What's up?
I'm so tilted.
Why are you tilted?
Because Victor's in the jungle spot. Okay.
Oh, he accidentally clicked the champion in the wrong spot. That's funny. Wow. All right.
Damn it, Arthur.
I know.
All right.
All right. You ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. I'm gonna count to 3 and then say the word unpause. And when I say unpause, you unpause. And we're gonna do this.
Okay.
All right. For 15 seconds. All right. 3, 2, 1. Unpause. Oh god, I didn't pause on time. I'm at 17 seconds right now. 19, 20, 21, 22. Are you good?
I'm at the same.
All right, we're happy. All right, so here we go.
The jankiest VoD review.
I know. Well, yeah, I didn't choose to screen share with you, and
That's
maybe
fine.
that was the wrong choice.
That's
but
fine.
It's our first time. We'll get better next time, I
Yeah.
promise. But it's okay. I'll never forget this one.
Okay, so they're just doing lines right now.
Yeah. Okay. Normal stuff. In solo queue, the Nautilus team would be invading right now. So we expect Maokai to do a sapling bomb. How do you feel about him like sapling bombing for Alex Ich versus like giving himself a camp versus? So like I think the ideal start right now is you sapling bomb for your mid laner to get half a level, and you duo jungle 2 camps, buy 5 potions, recall TP.
So you throw 2 saplings at the raptors, then you go do wolves.
Or like you do Krugs or wolves with Rek'Sai because you want Callista and so basically I think the ideal start is 3
I
camps
agree.
are started at the beginning of the game, and Maokai double jungles with Rek'Sai.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody's getting on that double jungle hype train because you give all of the first camp to one person, they hit level 2, and then you have a level 2 and a level 1 doing the next camp, and then you just give all the experience to the other guy.
It means he has to take gold away, but that's not the worst thing in the world.
I mean, the top laner is going to get gold from your jungle anyway.
It lets him buy. I guess it lets him buy a ward.
And you get out of the jungle with your first 2 camps down and being level 2 without having used a single potion.
That's true. Yeah, it's really strong. Okay, so we'll see if Maokai gets both last hits here, and then he would just recall when Red's almost dead. Same for Chris and Shrimp. So Chris should be tanking this and not using any potions. I'm actually surprised Shrimp smited here, by the way, because he's literally not using the buff by not getting hit. It's like a slight waste of the duration. It's a really, really minor point, right? But if you're not going to get hit at all, you have no reason to smite it. So Chris and Shrimp shared, it looks like. Because I think they're giving all the money to Shrimp. And Chris is just... Okay, now Chris is taking the little ones. If that's even on purpose.
And he's taking as much damage as possible, of course, because he's
without
going to
potioning.
back. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, and here he recalls. He recalled
There
late,
you go.
but that's not a big deal. Okay,
Okay,
so
so
they're
they
both
just
2. He took the little ones, which should be enough for reward. Looks like Rek'Sai and Maokai did the same thing. Maokai got 3 CS, so it looks like they gave him enough to buy his own items. 5 potions and a pink ward, 5 potions and 2 mana potions. Those are the... Yeah, so the top laners got a little bit of gold, and they got to have OP starts.
Oh.
This is... What's up?
I was just thinking about Rise later as well. Just the fact that they were able to secure Rise is
Oh, yeah.
honestly a big oversight. But even on 513, like just think about the items that Rise wants to buy.
Tyr and Roa are great now. Or better now.
Roa, Seraph's Embrace. Roa has 20 more. Oh,
That's fine. I mean,
yeah, he's gonna get out.
Whatever.
Anyway.
Like, he trades flash. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's terrible. He didn't even trade flashes.
No,
Like,
he didn't even have to flash for it. So Crumbs went for the level 2 gank, so he didn't have his tunnel. His very early gank.
I mean, flash
Was actually
backups-
it's a normal timed gank, but you really want to be able to unburrow and then flash chase with your red.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
he
it's
went for
true.
the-
Oh, yeah, you're right. Not being able to chase with red is
Yeah.
a big deal. And also just, like, he has no, like, gank. Like, if this was a LeBlanc, they'd have forced TP. Or forced flash.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that felt
Anyway, the whole Rise point.
Yeah.
Because you get Seraph's Embrace, which has 20 more AP now. You get a
Roa
Void
has 20
Staff.
more AP.
Yeah, you get a Void Staff, which has 10 more.
10
10 more. You have 30 there, and then Rod of Ages has more AP and more mana.
Yeah.
So you legit get about 100 more AP out of a Rise build now.
I want to say it's around 56.
But then you multiply all that by a little bit by death cap too, the extra that you get.
Yeah. Well, if he's hitting 4 items.
And then you get the mana as well.
Yeah.
From the Roa.
Yeah, that's true.
It becomes very close to it.
Yeah,
like late game,
it definitely buffs it. It definitely buffs it.
Late game, your Q just off of base, if you look at the tooltip, says it does about 900 damage.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
That's actually an obscene amount of damage. Alright, so Sivir chose to push in, and thing is Rek'Sai has no flash, which means they know like they can push and really not be afraid. Like, as long as they keep the brush in that river warded, like, he can tunnel under and then not do anything. So, like, that's where you want to trinket. You trinket in the brush. They could have put it farther up to, like, get more warning, but it's really not a big deal. Yeah, there's really nothing that Rek'Sai can do about this. Also, direct-to-camera sucks when following Callista. I apologize if we're watching the VoD.
Whoop!
It's pretty bad. I'm sorry. So, I mean, Maple Street's, like, last inning just fine. Like, early lane Callista didn't change. It actually got a little bit better, because Ren did more damage, does more damage after the changes.
Yeah. They are playing Maple Street, they're not playing Jeebus. And my theory behind this is they run Maple Street on red side for counterpick, because he plays Callista, he plays Urgot if the other team gets Callista. And Jeebus, I don't know if he does play Urgot that much. And from what I've been seeing, they run Jeebus on blue side. So I would expect to see Jeebus tomorrow if I want to just keep proving this theory more and more.
Hey, it's definitely likely. I noticed that Conquan made sure he put the shield up and specifically aimed at Callista so she couldn't hop and get like to the side of him. I've seen so many Braums like miss their shield. Okay, so Shrimp goes for the play.
They got Alex's flash.
Yeah, they got Alex's flash because I think he got to Q from a brush.
Yep.
Yeah, so. Alex not having any wards down is pretty silly though. Like, there needed to be a better recall from Crumbs to get a ward for Alex. You're facing Lee Sin. Like, your top 3 priorities when facing Lee Sin, one of which is put a freaking ward down so you can hide on that side of the lane. Like, Crumbs, I think, needed to do better in getting a ward on an earlier recall.
Yeah, he recalled late. He has the wards now.
Yeah, but it's too late. Like, you can't go 6 minutes without warding for Lee Sin. That's silly.
Alex was having pressure in that lane too. He's about 14 CS up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you talking about? He's plus 30 CS, 19 versus 52.
Shut up.
Just trolling a bit. So
that tilts me so bad.
Shrimp is spending a lot of time looking for ganks right now. It's his second gank back. His entire jungle's up except for Wolves, which I assume are clear before he went mid. I didn't really track it. So, yeah. Thing is, like, Callista's never pushing in on Sivir. Like, I don't know why they even bothered with this. Unless they, like, were praying Crumbs would show, which is also, like, a long shot. That seemed like a wasted opportunity. Because also, like, keep in mind, like, as levels go in, durability goes up, but your damage doesn't because you don't have any items. Generally speaking, even though like your abilities rank up, I would say like level 5 without items has like basically 0 kill pressure on anyone. So I would never gank bot lane there. Okay, Shrimp. I assume he smited Raptors. He should have probably clear wards for his gank paths. Okay, so there's BF Sword recall for Callista, it looks like. A little bit late, 60 CS is a bit later than you need, but it'll allow him maybe a long sword or boots. I think.
The BF Sword buy.
Yep, BF boots.
BF boots, no
and
pots.
He's 10 CS up, which means Sivir... Well, I mean, it's fine. So Sivir without mana and without items sucks at wave clearing, so she's barely going to deny anything against this Callista.
Yeah.
The fact that they ran Sivir out of mana, like, I think a really weird thing that AD carries need to learn is store up mana for right before you want to recall so that you can use your mana bar to push your wave and get a good recall. Like, it's something I've never really done before, but, like, I realize just now, like, how important that would be. Because, like, Mash booming, it means he's going to lose out on CS here.
But you still use it to press before that, too.
But unless that denies CS, it doesn't matter.
I
Because the important thing is how much longer does it take you to clear the important wave? Because it's not like you can get more CS by clearing the wave before. You still have to wait for the next ones to spawn.
Yeah, I wouldn't sit there saving my mana, though.
I suppose. It depends what kind of lane you're in.
It's situational, I believe. Like, if you're in a good place... And I think the idea is if you have mana and they don't, then you definitely want to blow it all back. Force them to, like, auto-attack wave clear. And then just get a better timer on them. But that comes a lot down. That comes a lot down to how trades work.
Yeah, true.
In your volume settings, do you have the thing that says allow devices to take control of this?
I've actually already unchecked that. I did have it and then I unchecked it.
Okay.
It's okay. I just have this Skype little window open. I can keep dragging it back to half. I don't know what happened. It's never done this before to me, like, ever. But whatever, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's Windows Media Player, who knows. But, alright, so we're 9 minutes in. Nothing big has really happened. CS lead is mostly from Alex Zich. Top lane's gone equal. I'm glad to see that RF, like, rushed Cowl on his first buy. He absolutely had to do that. Wow.
Ooh.
Wow, we're really forced to flash off that. That's rough. I guess, yeah, she thought Hook was going to land and it barely tagged a minion instead, which means BF Sword, like, see, now the dynamic of the lane entirely changed. Once BF Sword comes in, now the AD carry is the most important part instead of the supports, because they literally, like, added 80% more damage than they had before, which now means AD carries another gods of all trades, and so the lane, like, switches, and if Vermillion ever gets overextended, she's done, though.
Except for Callista, because that BF Sword is actually worth 5 less AD.
Well, still means Ren damage.
Yeah, but the whole idea behind the change was to make it so that once she buys BF Sword, she's not as oppressive in lane.
Yeah,
exactly.
It definitely does.
It dampens it a little, exactly.
Definitely does. Alright, Cinderhulk done. Warrior Lee Sin, not a surprise there. I think you have no reason to go Cinderhulk Lee Sin, because there's no reason to play Lee Sin unless you're planning on going Warrior on it.
Also, it's fucking Shrimp. I want this guy to just destroy them.
Is he like the rush of Challenger?
I like Shrimp a lot.
Where everyone just like is on him.
Yeah.
He's very good.
I don't think he's that aggressive of a player for ganks. I feel like he's more of a farm-centric jungler.
Which is weird that he played Lee Sin then.
He's like a half move, half rush, right? Like he's not the vision control of move. He's the counter jungling of move.
Yeah.
And then he's the mild aggression and team fighting of rush, where as opposed to like the balls deep, go for the crazy play.
It just feels weird to me if you're a farm-centric jungler that you would play Lee Sin at all. Unless you really think you can hold your opponent down, which is why he plays Nunu, to be fair, right? He wants to hold his opponent down, but Lee Sin just feels like he doesn't fit that style.
Yeah, I feel like Shrimp's champion pool is something you have to keep an eye on.
Like Shyvana fits that style, right? If you're really just playing around minion control, like I think Shyvana is a really amazing.
I want to see him play Shyvana.
Shyvana is a less consistent Nunu, basically. Like really, that's what like Shyvana does as far as roles are concerned.
That would be hilarious. I want to see that Sated Devourer Shyvana from him.
She's actually quite good. I've played her a few times.
Do it, Shrimp. I know, I love it. It's probably terrible and competitive because of the timing it has on it, but regardless. Yeah, like I was saying, I think Shrimp's champion pool is something that a lot of people are going to look to exploit in the future because they really want to push him onto Evelynn. And now that they know they have this Lee Sin too. Oh, and I have a little bit of a rant about this. I don't like the state of champion select at the moment. What?
What? He hooked Con-Quan?
Okay, no, that looked like the hook disappeared and then it reappeared.
That was weird. So Victor roamed down, they even landed the hook and they didn't go in for it?
He didn't go.
I mean, I guess he probably wasn't going to die, but it just felt weird they didn't even... I guess they wanted Sivir or nothing. But even that's stupid, because like, she's going to spell shoot your hook. I mean, I guess you ult her afterwards, but... It's weird to see your mid laner roam and like without your jungler. Like if one person's going to go bot lane, it should probably be that one.
Yeah, and they had ultimate as well.
Yeah, I don't think they could have killed Braum, but
it's still really hard, and then Sivir could have popped ulti. Yeah, it's good that he just turned back. It's fine.
I mean, the thing is, they can't force it, right? Like, you have Rek'Sai can go, Victor can go, and you can freaking Callista ult the Nautilus in. Like, I feel like there's enough CC, like, you ult... Yeah, I mean, but I think it has to land on Mash. Like, once Mash's spell shield is down, then you can ult him, then you can toss Nautilus in, then you can follow up.
I just really like this Sivir pick overall.
Yeah, she's super good.
Because she's going to keep shoving the lane up, and against both champions... Yeah, exactly. Also, both champions she's up against, it's nerfed Callista, so Callista isn't as destructive in that lane. Yeah. And it's a Nautilus. Nautilus' main form of engage is going to be point and clicking on you. You can just spell shield it. So I just think it's a really good pick.
That's a nice kick. Oh, good flash. Oh, yeah, still that was really nicely done.
He just wanted to ward.
That was, dude, the fact that Shrimp was there, that was pretty big. I didn't see what made him be there, but that was...
Do you want to go back for it?
I don't know. It's a really long game. I'm loath to go back for things.
It looked like he was just going for the ward.
Yeah.
He was just going to ward, and then Shrimp got in front of him.
That's really impressive, though.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a nice ward hop.
So they chose to go for turret instead of dragon, which I think is the right choice. They theoretically could have dragon. They had smite. They have a Lee Sin. right? Like people were like their enemy mid laner is dead, like that's all fine, but when you're somewhat injured, turret's actually safer, and also Renegade's only form of wave clear is Victor, so the only time they even get to kill turrets really is with Victor off the field, whereas like this is a good enough team-fighting team that you can kind of drag him whenever, and I don't feel like Coast have to go for 5 dragons to win this game, so I think it's pretty solid. Because they can just like scale up with Rise into infinity and just be like, I dare you to team fight us ever. So like there's no rush on like getting outscaled because you have Rise, so getting advantages that matter now right away, especially when they're limited in opportunity, is I think absolutely the right choice. Even in addition to like Dragon being risky because they were low-ish.
Yeah, and they're just gonna send everybody top. They just want these turrets. Like RNG, Renegades was actually out, had more gold just from CS. Like
yeah.
Crumbs was getting all of the scuttlers and stuff.
That's true. Crumbs is doing super well. This is good. They got the entire team up there.
These turrets.
They're giving a lot of room for Callista to push though, and they also give up control of the bot lane. So
yeah,
these guys,
give up Dragon
you guys
too.
need to pressure turret too. If they don't pressure the turret at all, it's absolutely the wrong choice because they know they're giving up 2 objectives. Also, the fact they don't have Orianna at all is a little bit troublesome.
I don't know what Pekin's doing.
I don't. Like he was at no mana and like practically in base. I don't know actually where he was at all.
Yeah,
it felt weird that they pushed with 4.
He just was hanging out by his turrets.
I think he was saying maybe they dive me as a response to this push.
Yeah, because they don't have ward control on the bottom side.
Yeah, I guess. So they know Dragon because Dragon screams global. Also, they can just see the buff. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, they trade outer for outer, whatever. They got bot lane from bot lane winning, and they got mid lane from the
outer and outer and Dragon.
Oh, that's true. You're right. So that was actually that ended up not being a good play for Coast because like mid wasn't pressured, so like they didn't have Pekinwolf who was able to just like walk up the top lane and 5-man top lane tier 2 and force a reaction.
Yeah, he didn't really know where Alex was hanging out. He didn't really know they were doing the Dragon either.
But that's why like you ward like as you're going through this because mid lane's already dead, right?
Yeah.
You can ward top. Generally speaking, you can somewhat ward top jungle, and at least know that Pekinwolf's path to top is safe, and know that the entire enemy team must be bot lane. Getting those top jungle wards is hard when you only have that one outer turret down, but I'm also actually surprised that they went for top lane outer instead of just going for Dragon themselves, because that was a free Dragon as well for Coast.
Oh yeah, and then you could just claim the top lane.
Yeah, you claim top lane whenever.
There's no pressure on your top lane, and if you go to Dragon and you contest the Dragon, it stops Callista pushing afterwards. Because then all you have to do, leaving the Dragon pit, is pop Sivir ultimate and come around.
Renegades are super unsafe. They have no idea where wards could be. Chris flanks would be crazy.
And your mid and bot turret are down, so you just have all these long lanes.
Oh god, he pulled aggro. That's so rough. Oh, he took another turret shot. That was just a severe outplay.
They're just gonna 4-man them top now.
Yeah.
Crumbs is middle. Crumbs is looking for a gank
Crumbs is there.
Oh boy.
Now Chris kills everyone.
I'm Rise!
It's taking a long time to die.
Rise!
Oh man.
Oh.
The fact that Crumbs is still fighting
Did Crumbs want to take that? I didn't even know if he wanted to take that tunnel or if he actually wanted to knock him up. It just looked like he right-clicked.
I don't know. But that was... So I mean, really...
Forcing Pekinwolf onto this Orianna from his Azir doesn't seem to be
choosing to have 4 top was really interesting.
Well, Chris was bottom and he TP'd onto the ward in their front rush top.
You're right.
So he flanked them because they had Crumbs middle. So they were going to try to get Pekinwolf middle, and it looked like Crumbs was going to wrap around and try to dive him under the turret, but then Alex got sucked in.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really good play by Pekinwolf. Like, he deserved that. Yeah, okay, so Rise being bottom then is actually really smart. Renegades should have realized then, like, they can't be up like that with TP available. Like, because you know the default setting for Coast now is going to be, like, at least dual lane top, 1 mid, and then Rise bottom. And so if Shrimp is ever there, you outright lose the fight.
Yep.
Alright, like, they know they have Crumbs and Alex mid, which means they know they have at most 3, and their opponents have at least 3. Which is, like, never a good way to plan for a fight.
I'm trying to think. Because honestly, even if Crumbs had gotten the dive onto Alex, they would have lost that top fight.
I mean, it's hard to expect you lose that badly, though, so I don't...
So you would lose, what was it, 3 people, 2 people?
They ended up getting 3 killed.
3?
Yeah, they lost 3.
Okay, so you lose all 3 people top? They lost all 3?
Yeah, they lost all 3.
Maple and Remilia? I
I'm
thought they
sorry.
didn't get Remilia.
Oh, you're right. Remilia hasn't died.
Yeah, they didn't get Remilia.
Sorry, I just
So-
thought she was dead.
Okay, so yeah, Alex.
You're
Oh,
right.
Alex died middle. That's right.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah,
so,
I lost count.
So
My bad.
yeah, even if Alex didn't die middle, they would have at least gotten Peek and Wolf for 2. Maybe they could have pushed mid turret after that, but
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like it's why a lot of games are passive when you watch like professional League of Legends, high level League of Legends, because they
Not in
realize
China.
like, well, yeah, well, I mean, teleports are down more often, but like you realize like, yeah, if you pressure a lane and their teleport's available, like you are going into a pretty bad number situation. So it's like you have to have lane dominance and then have that laner roam out first, and that opponent laner not having teleport, which means it's really only mid lane that can like make those upset differences, right? To make like a hardcore push guaranteed to be successful. If you know you have your mid laner and they don't. I think that's a lot of why it's oftentimes slow. Or the jungler tracks the enemy jungler and knows they have a gank, and you can match TPs. So it's like the jungler or the mid laner has to outplay for the most part. Or like your support roams out and your AD carry is safe to 1v2. Like so there's like how each lane can do it, essentially. It's like jungler out-rotates the jungler, mid laner out-rotates the mid laner, support out-rotates the support. And those are the key roles. Because TPs just get matched anyway.
Yeah, that's true. But it depends on what side of the map you're on, so that like even if you aren't because what we saw there is Chris used his TP to a place where RF already was. So if you were matching 3 people top, like let's just say 3 people are top and one of them is the enemy top laner,
Yeah.
that means the other top laner comes into that fight at any time, even if it's the top laner versus AD carry bottom, right? So you turn it into a 4v3.
Right.
So top laner position in relative
in
to the
lane swaps,
massive
it's really interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's
and then-
top laner position relative to the majority of your forces is important.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why everyone says go to the source of the global, because the global just shows up with you anyway. And you know, lo and behold, the team with the global invaded in like with their teleporter, and lo and behold, that meant nothing. Yeah.
Peek and Wolf got a pretty slick outplay though. That's not something you can count on.
Oh sure. The survival on the 1v2 dive was really nice. It's just more about the other 3 renegades shouldn't have been there. Like going for Peek and Wolf was totally fine. That was actually pretty safe play, except for the outplay. But all right, so Alex still winning in CS. Actually, everyone on Renegades is winning in CS, despite like the bad fights. They're honestly way outplaying this game.
Yeah, which Coast is kind of lucky they got those early turrets because they were just losing in gold. They were down about 1,000 gold. They got that first turret and then they were even.
Yeah, Crumbs feels really invisible this game.
Yeah, Shrimp is out pressuring him.
Bot lane turret died. Mid lane turret got ganked.
Crumbs feels like he's behind about 5 seconds. Because if he had backed to camp earlier, maybe that's like 20 seconds, whatever. If he had backed to camp earlier, he would have had wards for Alex.
Yeah.
If the time that Alex got ganked by Shrimp, he was right off on the side. Like that was a 2-on-2, but Crumbs couldn't get into it fast enough because Shrimp kicked Alex away from where Crumbs was.
Ouch.
And then right there in the middle, Crumbs was a couple seconds too late to actually help Alex.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. So 2,000 gold, really not bad for 2 turrets and 4 kills. Okay, so Mash is doing Phantom Dancer, which I like. You can go Shiv, but your team has enough wave clear you don't need to. Also, if you don't have to, like, if you get to dictate what recalls you get, as someone like Sivir, I think you should go Phantom Dancer. If you forced into like awkward recalls where you need to buy stuff, I'm okay with like Avarice Blade Initiative. Looks like standard builds most other places. That could be Death Cap for Orianna, because it builds out of that now. Could also be, couldn't be Riley's because that's needlessly large, but it's Death Cap, okay. And there's Roa into Archangel, standard for Chris. Full Visage and Merc Tread's done for RF before he did anything else. I'm surprised to see him go Ward's Mill over Giant's Belt, because Sivir still doesn't really have her completed second item. I just think health is better than armor right now. It's a really minor point though.
Yeah.
We're also seeing. Oh, go ahead.
And health is super just good on Maokai in general because it's passive.
Yeah. Health isn't nerfed essentially.
Yeah. I'm very curious about AP item builds right now though, because like Peek and Wolf's just going standard, and then Alex is going CDR boots and Ludens. So the Ludens has less AP now, has more movement speed.
Yeah.
And he didn't go for like a Morello second for CDR. He went just boots because he's gonna have CDR glyphs.
Yeah, so he'll be sitting at 35%, which is fine. It is weird that he shows cooldown boots over Sork Shoes, though, because I feel like if you had the choice between 15 CDR and 15 Magic Pen, you go 15 Magic Pen.
But I think the 15 CDR actually equates to more damage on Victor.
Yeah, but it costs more mana. You're right that cooldown
Yeah.
is always worth more than Magic Pen. But Burst is a thing, especially for Victor. Because you only get one ult for fight, regardless of your CDR. And you only get...
Depends on what champion you are.
Well,
if you're
okay,
Rise,
sure. If
you
you're,
probably get 3.
Okay, if you're Corki, you get 7, but you know what I mean.
I gotcha.
I know you're messing with me. But yeah, any champion where Burst is an important part of your kit, like, you're often a little bit more loath to get CDR because you're sacrificing something else for it. Like, Karthus doesn't get CDR, even though he has an ultimate, because he can't use CDR in a team fight. No one gets cooldown on Karthus.
Yeah.
Because there's other things worth buying, right? Magic Pen's worth buying, and Death Cap's worth buying. This is the general sort of build direction that people go for.
Yeah, I just want to see what everybody... Because now I feel like now with all these different changes, every mid laner can kind of have a style.
Yeah, it's true, which is really cool. I'm glad there's better choices here, and I definitely agree that's going to happen.
And it's a trend I want to track, and I want to be like, this guy keeps buying Rylai's Crystal Scepter third. Or I see somebody, I think it was the C9T game, I think we saw an Ezreal who just went with Leandri's, no Rylai's. Oh, I think we saw a Rylai's Ezreal, and then we saw somebody who played
yeah, there's a Rylai's Ezreal in Challenger, or EU Challenger.
Rylai's on his Ezreal, and then Arcsecond on Ziggs went no Rylai's, but full Leandri's.
Yeah, I think Leandri's is super good.
Oh yeah, the AP boost. It was already a good item against tanks, and the AP boost on it just makes it a good item even without those stats.
Yeah, 15 Magic Pen, right, and just getting a good upgrade path for that is just pretty massive.
And you're a little more durable.
Yeah, which is
just a little bit.
Whatever.
It's slightly meaningful.
Yeah, I generally don't think about that very much.
Yeah, it's slightly meaningful.
Yeah, I mean, there's worlds in which that matters, so I mean, it's not to be discounted. Okay, so let's talk about lane assignments here. Dragon's coming back up in a minute and a half. We haven't talked about sort of the state of the game in a while. So I don't think Chris got a TP top lane, and then nothing happened for the TP cooldown.
Yeah, they just got the outer turrets, and then there's all these pink wards in RNG's jungle that you have to clear out before you start pushing them up. And it just looks like Coast keep trying to threaten the Baron that they could do it.
Yeah, this is why they put Chris in the bot lane.
Exactly.
Now here's the interesting thing is, so we're a minute away from Dragon, and Baron's already up, and so that's an interesting dance to do. Right, where do you send your teleport? Because it means that you don't have a way to pressure the other side of the map.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be legit. In a situation like this, the Ryze is pretty much always going to kill the Maokai. So true. RNG is kind of screwed here.
It's already up to bottom tier 2. Like, I wish Coast would all run to right-hand side of the map right now. Like, they have, like, because they could catch this 4v4, like, they could Sivir ult and just catch Vermilia. Or even if she just gets ulted out, and you just get bottom tier 2 for that. And if they go for Baron, you get their inhibitor as well. Which, like, I'm okay with really risky shot calling. I'm not saying everyone should, but, like, if I were in this game, it would be the call that I would make. And it might be wrong, but it, like that bot lane tier 2 would die. And Renegades would have to play it perfectly to not lose, like, to not get out-traded heavily. I guess they got it anyway. Chris won by that much. So there you go. That's why they did it. Chris was that far ahead. I didn't see the turret health.
Yeah. It's just Ryze is just going to keep bullying him out.
Yep, and it's working. They're just, like, they're making slow progress and making sure they keep the map controlled by keeping all of Renegade's top.
And the big thing, too, is this Ryze is going to pull a lot of pressure because Maokai never has kill pressure on him. Yeah. To the point that if you send 2 people to deal with it, the Sivir ultimate just gets popped, and then those 4 people run it. Exactly, those 4 people run it the 3 group.
You probably get something, unless Vermilia, like, really outplays it and then gets, like, ulted out by people.
You'll put down some slow zones and stuff, and, like, you'll be good. Maple ulti, but it's still a risk that's...
Oh, sure, of course.
You don't want to take it.
Right, you have to play perfectly to not lose champions, and that's never a good place to be in. If I don't screw up, nothing goes wrong. If I screw up, we lose the game. Right, that's not a good situation. So I definitely agree with you. Although they got Scuttler, which is pretty big, so that helps, because now Coast can't do anything tricky for a long time. But they got the Dragon.
Oh, right into Mash.
Oh.
Really just run into
shield by Conquan.
Ooh,
he had the
that was
well, this is
Pika was on the other side of this. Pika was on the other side.
Oh, is he zoned out? Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a really awkward fight. There you go. There's a pretty good. Actually, that's a really good.
There's like a good shockwave target in that mid, but he's a little too far. Oh my god.
There's
This
shockwave.
fight! Just one,
They
just one.
can't reach it. Yeah, Sivir can't reach.
Uh,
That's so many shields on Woof.
that was... Oh my... He got him anyway?
Oh, I didn't even notice that Alex died. What?
2 to 1. Yeah, Peek
Alex
got him.
walked into
Yeah, he walked
Peek
up to him.
What? That's so dumb. Alright, yeah, so Coast got split up there, essentially. Peek wasn't part of the team, and they didn't react to that. And so Renegades, like, all dove in. Yeah, because everyone chased Crumbs, right?
Yeah,
And,
what should have
by
happened?
himself.
What should have happened is when they hit Crumbs, they hit that ultimate for the Sivir ulti. Everybody should have ran up, and as soon as Crumbs had like used his E and like escaped in his flash and stuff, you turn around.
Yeah.
Well, you 4v4 because Peek is on the other side of it.
Yeah, but
right?
he like,
he's coming up
says
to...
if you run away, I shockwave you, right?
Exactly. Then you cut off their escape route.
Yeah.
But like, Conquan used his ultimate to try and disengage when he didn't have to. That actually could have been an engage tool, and then all the damage he soaked was for nothing.
Well, yeah, because the call is we should go for the Rek'Sai. Now the thing is though, without Peek though, that's a really significant factor down. Like even though I say Coast's team fight is probably better, no Rek'Sai versus no Orianna tips that back.
Yeah, that's true.
Because also keep in mind, Braum can't really stop Victor.
He'll get there though, but you have 2 sources of damage, basically Ryze and Sivir versus 2 sources of damage in a Victor and Callista, and when your 3rd source shows up, it's just like, oh, well.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Right, like 2 sources of damage versus 2 sources of damage, I'd still take that fight.
Okay, I'll give you that.
With my 3rd on the way, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
because
it's better than chasing Crumbs. Certainly.
Yeah, if I take a big enough fight, by the time Orianna shows up, you don't have enough to kill her left.
That's true.
If you're using enough to try and kill Mash and Chris.
You're right.
Yeah.
You right. Also, I didn't point it out at the time, but when Chris was split pushing the bot lane, he had about 3 regular green wards and a pink protecting his split push, which is why Coast was able to put 4 people top lane. Like literally, no one from Coast could have helped could have helped Chris, but they knew there was no ganks possible. Because there's really no lane ganking threat. There's no TF. There's no Nocturne. There's no Shen. So like, anyone who ganks has to be telegraphed. Because they had enough vision to track every way in, which allowed Chris to just slow burn the 1v1. Which some of that is his own warding totem, but also it was Shrimp Sightstone. Like, helped make sure that there was no chance that Chris loses his 1v1. Or gets 2v1 rather, while doing it. So that was like an important setup.
Yeah. And when they went bottom, they just put a whole bunch of wards on the Baron again. Like, RNG are just very stubborn about not giving this Baron up, so they just keep warding it all the time.
I think.
Yeah,
I mean, you saw him able to win a fight if they play it right. I mean,
it's
also
correct.
the only thing they can play for.
You don't have to put wards in your right side jungle. It's not like they're going to send 2 people there for a long time.
There's really nothing that important about it. And Dragons are so far away. Like, Dragon 5 is so far away that, like, you almost don't care if the next 2 go over.
Yeah, that's true. And Coast, they're the ones that have to ward the right side if they keep on split pushing.
Yeah, I guess they're already at 5 turrets, and mid's hard to get rid of.
Because like RNG doesn't have to ward that right side of their jungle if they keep putting them on the left side and figuring out where the other 4 are. But in order for Chris to even shove up, he has to ward that side of the jungle. He has to ward the east side.
Yeah. So here's what I was talking about earlier about how it's really hard for Coast to knock down turrets. Like, they earn turrets by creating pressure in 2 different places. Right, like Chris got to 1v1 and the rest of the team got to keep Alex Stitch busy. But when Alex is alive and there's only 1 turret to go for, they don't even try to kill a turret. They don't even get in the lane. Like, Coast just don't even bother. Like, every turret they've gotten has been because they set up the Chris 1v1 against a non-wave clear, or because they, like, sacrificed a dragon and a turret for, like, top outer.
And this is going to be so rough for RNG to win this.
Yeah, they have to, like, have to win a fight and get control back.
But I'm just looking at even just the landscape of a team fight. Because how does just look at their comp. RNG's comp is we want to fight you. Right, this is like team fight.
Coast are better at it.
And Coast yeah, exactly. They're straight up better at it.
I mean,
like, how are you going to kill a Ryze whose passive gives him a shield, has Seraphs, you have a locket on Shrimp already, and then you have this Braum that's going to stop a lot of your Callista's damage at the same time. Like, and then you have shields from Orianna at the same time. Like, this is a very, very durable composition that still deals a lot of damage.
It's a durable composition with 3 damage dealers. Like, this is like the ideal team fight comp. But keep in mind that, right, like, champion kits generally in League of Legends aren't exactly overloaded. There's always a weakness somewhere, otherwise the champion have a 70% win rate. So, like, they don't have reliable CC pick potential, right? Like, Coast haven't been able to force almost anything, and the last thing they forced, they lost. Because they couldn't actually kill Crumbs, despite having 4 people on him. And so, like, Renegades have the ability to pick fights better. generally speaking, like not by a huge margin, but like they're generally better at picking fights.
Slightly,
and so
yeah.
like if Renegades can ever force the out rotation, to be fair, a 2,000 gold lead is not really meaningful right now. So like in actual like combat prowess, or sorry, as far as items, right? They're basically the same. Now, Ghost again are still better at fighting.
Yeah, I feel like they should have taken Rise off the table.
Well, yeah, I mean it's Rise.
Crumbs is gonna get stunned.
Second time. Bronze Shield fell early. I guess it stops Victor E, right? So I guess like that's really all he's looking to block is Victor E. There's nothing else that he actually blocks that he would block with the body.
Does it block it? The
I'm
draw?
pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it does.
I feel like is that a projectile?
Almost everything is actually projectile, even if it doesn't look like it. If
I'm,
it travels, it almost definitely is blocked. Because I'm pretty sure I've windwalled it.
What about Rumble ulti?
I actually heard that actually is windwallable, but I haven't seen it.
That would be so broken.
But it draws so fast, right? You have to do it first. So I'm unsure if that's actually true.
Okay.
So Dragon's back up. Oh god.
Oh man! Oh my!
Dear
You
lord.
should have banned Rise.
I mean, yes. Okay, there we go. See, so that's the pick potential right there.
Well, wait, Seraph's Embrace.
Right. So
There's the locket.
there's everything we talked about over the last 2 minutes playing out. There's literally everything we talked about.
High
playing
damage,
out.
high durability.
Yep.
Yeah, like RNG's win condition is take a fight. But holy crap, they can't really take a they can't take a fight versus this comp.
Well, I mean, if Maple Street was alive, that probably went better because they did so
died
much burst. Well, I know, right? He got
He died
one
with
shot.
everything up. He died with everything up, like Flash, Heal, Blade of the Rune King. Like
He couldn't have flashed, and he probably should have ruined him, to be fair. But I don't think that would have saved him.
no, he couldn't have done anything.
No, he was good. He was done so.
That was Chris flashing and then rolling his face over the keyboard.
Yep. And the thing is, they should know Chris is bot lane because it's the lane away from Baron. Okay, good, secure. Like really no chance. I'm actually surprised Alex really even showed up. This just risks you getting killed.
Oh,
like that.
Yeah, that was
I'm
really good.
Really, yeah.
Vermilia too. It too.
I mean, right? That seemed like one of those situations where like I don't know why you bothered. They could have actually tried the dragon.
It's true.
Yeah. So the earlier point is like so basic lane assignments is something. Go ahead. Actually, you go first.
Yeah. No. It just because it goes into lane assignments because they had Chris bottom.
Right. Exactly. Because it's the lane away from Baron, and you're noticing by the way the priorities here from Coast. They don't want to risk the counter Baron, so they don't even try to pressure Dragon. Notice that both dragons that have been killed last time have been off of a team fight that they won.
Yeah, but what happened was Chris went top and he caught this huge monster wave, and then they sent him bottom right afterwards.
Oh, weird. I didn't notice that. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, there's some. I mean, I know you're talking earlier that Renegades don't need to ward bot jungle because there's nothing really happening there, but they weren't able to track Chris and what Chris is up to, and that's just always bad. And I mean, it was a really good play by Chris, but the fact that there were no wards at all was definitely a weakness. We're gonna. Oh, okay, they're gonna give it to Orianna. I was hoping it'd go to the Braum.
You were hoping it would?
Hey man, I like when I get a blue buff when I don't deserve it. Feels great.
It's got both blues on
I play jungle
Rise.
Shyvana and I have like a mid lane Vlad. I'm like, guess I'm taking blue buff. I like have an 80 carry Varus. He's like, should I take blue? I'm like, no, go away.
Yeah.
Alright, so
I like how they're using Chris across the map though. He already had distortion boots for a very long time, so his TP is always going to be good. He's always going to have that to the home guards at RF.
Yeah.
So they're just going to force it.
Yeah. So this is interesting because do you remember back in like I want to say it was like 2013ish, when Flame was the best top laner in the world and no one could beat him, and so CJ Blaze would just have Flame win the game for them by being the god of split pushing. To a much lesser degree, this is how Coast is pretty much playing this game by being like Chris is actually probably the best top laner in Challenger. Which is, to be like, again, I want to say like this is obviously a weaker market than the Korean professional scene, but the tenet still holds true that Chris is your battering ram to open everything on the map, and until a team can beat like that style, just what's ever gonna happen? Except
there's a lot of facilitation via the champion though.
Of course,
like,
of course.
I don't see him doing
but he's
that.
won every lane, right? He played Echo like 3 games and he's won all those well.
Well, that's how he's playing. He's playing to just dominate the lane and open up the map. So that his champion pool that nobody's really touched a whole bunch is allowing him to do that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm thinking about it too because he would play Rise. If he banned that, he'll play Echo or Aurelia, and just do the same thing.
Both those are melee though, which makes them much worse.
Yeah, they're much harder.
See, so that's exactly what I'm talking about though. This comp has burst, and they can punish mistakes better than Coast can.
kill to Romelia.
Right, which is also why I didn't like cooldown boost on Victor, because he has burst, and one-shotting people matters.
Yeah,
Like, if he had Zork shoes, he would have killed Chris in the earlier fight.
Way too, yeah, that's
right?
true. They were,
that's why this champion's good. Like, that is literally part of the reason why Victor's good. It's like, I know his like high DPS build is nice, but like, I'd rather you do Lich Bane for the high DPS build, because then you have like, just you add an affiliation to your Q, and just have the burst of your ultimate, because that matters, in my opinion, a lot. Like, Face of the Mountain Shield's still up, Locket was used, Sivir still has heal, right? Like,
it was fast. It was just too fast.
Yeah.
Pico should not have been that far forward. Just
no, definitely
flat,
true.
flat right there. Like
absolutely.
When you have a Rise split pushing, just don't go that far forward. Oh boy, Maple.
No Victor ult's a big deal.
Shrimp.
No Victor ult's oh, that was so
no.
close. That was so close.
My boy.
I know.
My boy's dead.
I'm surprised you went Randuin's. Wait, he went into Tabby and Randuin's. I guess he has Locket. I guess he has Locket. So I mean, it's not the worst.
And then he's going another MR item.
But
so
like,
he's going
Maple
2-2.
Street's not gonna kill you. I actually don't understand. I really don't like Randuin's here.
I think he's just trying to gimp Maple Street as hard as possible.
But it's not about gimping Maple Street. Like, Maple Street's not the threat here.
My mic keeps jumping up randomly.
Yours is? Oh, I didn't.
Well, it goes from like 18 to 23.
Oh, yeah. It just happened there.
It just did it, and I'm watching it. And
my levels are the same.
Off.
My levels are the same right now. I just look over once in a while. I know. I don't know what's happening. Maybe it's Windows. Are you using Windows Media Player? Or like VLC? Or like what's your video playback program?
It's Windows Media.
It might be that, honestly.
Probably the problem.
Because this hasn't happened to me until just now. Probably with Windows Media Player. Oh well. Okay, so yeah. So yeah, Chris being the best. So anyway, if he was gonna play Echo or Relay, though, at least those guys are melee, which is much harder to knock down turrets with. And also compared to Season 3 Rise, this Rise builds ability power, which means he gets the your auto attacks deal bonus damage to turrets.
Yep.
That ability power gives, which is a big deal. Because back when it was Tier Frozen Heart, when it was Tier Frozen Heart Rise, he didn't kill turrets, and that was actually a core weakness of the champion. Was that he could win your fights, but he wouldn't knock down turrets for you, so it didn't matter.
So right here, RNG was just warding up with pink wards. Nobody's gonna face check that. Baron's down for a minute and a half. You have a Banner of Command minion that they have to even kill in the mid lane.
Yep, but versus TP up, he's never had to burn TP in a very long time.
It's true.
And also with Distortion Boots to make sure TP's up all the time. Like, because he doesn't care about home guard flanks, right? He's not Maokai, he's not Hecarim.
I said that like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, I missed that. I missed that. I apologize. I actually missed that.
Don't worry, we do that to each other all the time.
I know we do. Yeah, I like the choice of not going home guards.
Yeah, RF went home guard though.
Yeah, he's Maokai, it's understandable.
It's not gonna help him.
Yeah, it's true. Well, actually, there's a world in which it matters, which is like he's getting pushed around by Rise so much, getting to heal is a big deal.
That's
Alright,
true.
wow. So, Coach is so much scarier in a fight that they pushed up mid and just walked over to Baron. And it's like, nice pink wards, dog.
I actually agree, that's a really good observation.
Ah,
it went up again. There
it did.
Stay!
I know.
Anyway. But I like that every time the RF gets shoved out of lane, he'll get back to where Rise was faster with the home guard. That's really cool.
And the thing is, if he ever is able to push Chris out of lane, Chris has to take a long time to get back.
Just solo the dragon.
Yeah,
like 10 seconds.
Any 40-minute carry build is going to do that, but 10 seconds is a bit fast, I'll give you that. Also, he went really greedy, like Abyssal and Void Staff, and he's getting like another big item. Like, to not go tanky at all against a bursty team, like, relying on just Abyssal seems sketchy. I really want to see Coast, like, get a Banshee's Veil on every champion in this game. Like, even Mash should be getting a Banshees and not greedily going for a QSS. Or a Bloodthirster. Like, both those I think are wrong. Because the only way this team loses a team fight is if Victor one-shots them. And Locket's not good enough. With 9,000 gold lead, like, you can afford to get 3 Banshee's Veils and still be okay. Even though you're not buying any more damage, you're cutting Victors by enough that like you're still doing the right thing.
Yeah, I guess your team has enough in it. I don't know. I kind of like the Abyssal on Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with Abyssal, but like maybe you cut the Void Staff for a Banshees.
The Void Staff is helping him destroy RF.
It helps you kill RF. Like, I mean, the problem is like every item has a pro and con. Right.
But I feel like that's what he wants to do.
Okay. It just means he can get one shot in a team fight, which is just a risk.
I don't know. Rise has Seraph's Embrace already.
I like how Chris is
And he
spamming
gets a
spells on
shield
that.
too.
Did you see Rise put a bunch of spells into the game?
I want the shield. Oh. This is where Renegades figures out that Coast don't know how Banner of Command works.
Alright, so here's the attempt.
And they just keep
they're
spamming
really
the mid lane.
risk-averse. They're really risk averse, which is fine. I mean, they're winning this game by a lot.
I mean, they have
And
Fifth
next
Dragon
Dragon's
too,
yeah,
right?
next Dragon's in 4 minutes.
It's 44 minutes. If you mess up and you get aced, you're
Yeah.
gonna lose that dragon. You're gonna lose. Oh, you're gonna lose a lot of your base too.
Weird.
Crit. Oh, you chunked out two though. So actually, that's
The match is in, like,
that's
completely
fairly
the
good.
wrong spot.
That's
Like,
not good.
That's why I
Yeah.
didn't like that.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have follow up.
Oh, but can they kill Chris though? Alex is off on the side. No.
They killed Chris, yeah. Or sorry,
Yeah.
they killed Alex. Chris didn't die.
Yeah, they still got to Alex though. That was the big part.
Yep. It was a good shockwave, right? Just like shockwave into auto attacks and like a Braum Q.
I'm trying to see how they reached him. Oh, it's the shockwave.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pika just threw the ball out. Yep. Boom.
Alex Flash was used in the fight, but probably not at the right time.
Mm-hmm. He used it to flash the wall to go after Mash, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
did. He used it on
Yep.
Mash, you're right.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, like, that was just so dumb by Mash. Like, as soon as he did it, he didn't have teammates. I'm like, what do you expect to accomplish here? And then it immediately got destroyed. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of what I thought. All right, so...
Sometimes you just gotta ruin your almost 100 KDA.
Oh, God, he was at...
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Mash
He was at 96.
Match had a 96 KDA before that death. I'm so sad. That was such a bad death. That's completely avoidable. And I was just saying, like, Coast were being, like, patient because they could just wait on Dragon 5, and then Mash says, I'm gonna go 1v2 their jungler and AD carry.
Is that right? Did he end up at that?
I mean, add 7, whatever it was last Wednesday.
Yeah, I thought it ended at 89.
I mean, it's close to that, right? It was probably in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Much like our audience of viewers. Early 90s? Okay.
I'm actually just gonna check LOL Esports
Oh my god.
and see what his KDA is. Okay, yeah, so that makes sense.
Yep. Alright,
Yep.
so
The young 48 KDA.
So Alex is just getting all the farm, which is fine because he's still got a Lich Bane to buy. I'm surprised they didn't get a locket sooner, actually, on Renegades. And that it's on RF, who's, like, split pushing.
Well, they have a Banner of Command on Remilia, which will give you the same.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's fine, then. That's fine.
Same
Then.
resistances.
I like the choice of getting 2, though. I do think getting 2 is appropriate.
2 banners?
2 Aegises. Because the second Aegis is still worth 40 MR.
Yeah. This Baron start, though,
It feels like Renegade's trying to get desperate.
they're trying to do it with Maple Street so that they can get the guaranteed Ren,
Not a good shockwave.
but they want to fight.
Yeah, the problem is, like, it's so easy for Coast just to be like, we're here, back up, right? Because Coast already win the 5v5, so it's like not even like Renegades and Peel, but they do have a situation where, like, if Coast screws it up, Renegades wins the fight, gets 2 kills, gets Baron, gets back in the game, and they didn't even lose anything for it, right? So, like, I like this choice by Renegades because the best scenario is you win the game. The worst scenario is nothing really goes wrong, assuming
True.
you play it reasonably well, which I'm totally okay with.
Yeah. And you have to make that play there because there's a minute on Dragon.
Yeah, and like they try again.
And they go again, yeah. Seriously, if I'm Coast, I just stop them for as long as possible, even if I don't get the fight, and I would gladly get 5th Dragon over Baron.
Oh yeah. Wait, what is Chris TPing to?
The fight?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess he was far enough away. Sorry, I didn't see where he was
Oh!
arriving.
Oh,
Shrimp.
not dead!
The shields. Good shockwave.
Forced the flash from Maple.
Wow, they really got Shrimp low.
The support trade.
Yeah. Okay, that was actually pretty solid. That went better for Renegades than I thought it would. They were already fighting Baron.
Well, Coast are going to get 5th Dragon off that.
Yeah.
You don't have a way to get back there in time. You have no TP. Alex will maybe rush there.
It's theirs. Well, Rek'Sai can go somewhat close.
You lose bottom turret. Yeah, so this
Oh,
is what they're going to do.
Baron. They're
Okay,
gonna do it again.
they'll trade Baron for 5th. Yeah, I think
Oh,
that's
God,
a good trade.
Why are 2 people bot lane?
There was a
Why
huge
are 2
minion
people
wave.
bot- But
I don't
you
know.
need 2.
No, you don't.
Oh, that's such a mistake. You never send 2 people bot lane 40 minutes into the game. I mean, you don't send them 2 bot lane 30 minutes into the game. This is taken, right? Like, this is theirs.
Yeah, this is theirs.
like
They
the easiest
have
run to
they have
revive.
Callista, right?
Yeah.
So
And now.
boom, mash. I think he popped
Wow,
ulti to just try and get there sooner.
That was a,
Oh, Cromarino. Chris? Oh, Chris wants it.
yeah, that's theirs. They can push.
Yeah, that's
in
the.
here, probably.
I want to see Chris's AP. What's his AP?
What? Don't backdoor the inhib. You don't need to backdoor the inhib. There's no reason to backdoor the inhib.
919 AP on Rise.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yep. This is where he's queued. Legit does 900 damage.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Ash still blue. See, I wanted to see Renegades, or I want to see Coast go for a turret. I think it was a good chance too. Dragon 5, like, I know they have Baron, but like with Crumbs dead, their team fight is just so weak. Like, no fight they take should work, and that's part of why I like Banshees. Is like, even out because like then Alex can't one shot you either, and so there's no way Renegades wins a fight. And that's why it was more about removing conditions for victory, right? If no one can die, then you can't lose a fight. And I think 4 items is enough to deal meaningful damage, but that's personal taste. Like, they're not objectively wrong. It's just my taste.
Do you want me to agree or disagree?
Oh, I mean, it's up to you. Like, it's really up to you. I know you were disagreeing before. You were liking the damage builds, and that's totally fine.
I'd have to think about it. Just top of the top corner. Top corner.
That's perfect. Thank you, direct the camera.
Oh.
You enjoy that way too much.
It's just the corner.
It's just exactly what you needed. Yeah.
I love that skin. I'm so glad it exists.
So I wouldn't mind Mash's build if he were Caitlyn, but he's playing Sivir, and this is just like he can just get killed by Alex.
Yeah, but I mean he keeps
he
going
doesn't
up.
die.
He keeps
Like
going up.
I know he doesn't die this game anymore, but like
No, but I'm just thinking about it because he has spell shield. He has all these things that'll help him. There's the Mikhails as well. There's a locket.
yeah,
Like, I think Mash is just fine.
112 MR, 2000 HP.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that just seems fine to me.
All right, and I mean again, like spoiler alert, I know he doesn't die anymore this game, so
Yeah, but I still think that's fine.
okay. So Dragon 5 pretty much times out here
Like I would want the Mercurial Scimitar.
for like a Maokai root or a Nautilus
Yeah.
stun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, double banner. Double banner.
I guess Spell Shield does help. Like, you can see any part of Alex's burst coming and Spell Shield one of it.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I'll spell
that actually
shield
makes a big
a lot of
difference.
engage. I'll spell shield a lot of engage, and then
Yeah.
you'll just use your QSS Mercurial Scimitar on the rest of it.
Alright. You won me
Meh.
over. QSS.
Yeah,
Scimitar's fine.
I did it. As long as it's not a Zephyr.
Oh god, as long as it's not a Zephyr. That is so bad.
Okay. So everybody's builds are pretty much
Why didn't they
online.
go top? They could have run top right now. They could have hard dove the Callista, right? Like,
Yeah.
because so they stood around in mid with no minion wave when there was a minion wave top they could have used, even just to like force like the optimum bad rotation. It once again is a situation where like if they do it right, nothing happens. If they do it wrong, you get a turret. And there's no downside to your actions. They should have gone top when they had that triple wave up there.
Yeah, they had a big
there was
wave.
literally nothing to do in mid.
And they still have Sivir, right? They can just pop a Sivir ultimate and
Right.
force it.
Yeah, I mean they like if you really wanted to go super hard, you could Sivir ult, Shrimp could look for the Q. If he lands it, he forces Maple Street's flash.
Hmm.
And Maple Street doesn't flash, he dies.
Yeah, everybody's pretty much approaching full builds as well, minus RF and supports. So this gold lead is actually meaning less and less, and it comes down to
Yeah,
composition scaling.
No scimitar for the 80 carry, so that's 80 attack damage.
You're missing an item on RF.
Yeah, you're missing an item on one champion in the top lane.
Your
You're
locket
missing a Ruby Sightstone upgrade.
and a locket.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, enough stats to matter, but
Yeah, it's just getting closer and closer. So as the game stalls
Yeah.
out, it becomes about comp, and I still feel like Coast is just better.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Actually, this is the point also where I'd want things that are good at poke. So like, Leandry's is really good. Ludens would be good too on Oriana. Not that there's anything else you could sell. Like I wouldn't drop Zonias for Ludens, but anything that like lets you land poke can help you knock people off turrets that you can go push in.
I like the Leandries a lot.
No, I think Leandry's is better.
Yeah.
But like, if there were room, if there were a magical 7th item slot, like I would put Ludens Echo in it.
Dude, that's I just love these AP item changes because you actually have to think about your purchases.
I know, it's great.
I wish I had 7 items.
And that's why item slots are a thing, is to make you have an economy of choice.
Yeah, we seriously need more types of choices like that for more roles.
Absolutely agree.
Like 80 carry needs
Absolutely
more
agree.
of those
Absolutely
things.
agree. Tank items are kind of there, right?
Tanks are almost there. It's like, do I want Thornmail, Frozen
GA,
Heart,
Frozen Heart, Randuin's,
Sunfire,
items.
even though you never see Sunfire.
It's hard to get Banshees and Visage in the same build.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, generally.
Some people do it, though.
Yeah.
But usually people will be like, it's better to go Visage and then lock it if you're going to get another.
He got Lock it Banshees, like, he did the right thing. Right, he has 1 armor item, which is appropriate.
Then Ninja Tabi.
Yeah, I mean, I don't count boots in that. Like,
oh, man.
Situation.
That just must feel awful as Callista. Now that you're... Basically, everybody has a Ninja Tabi now to your auto attacks.
Yeah, that's great.
And then they Ninja Tabi your Ninja Tabi.
That's true. That's a good point.
That sounds awful.
Okay, so... Coast, actually, this is actually really good. Coast should play for Baron plus Dragon, which should be enough to win the game. If Coast don't push off of Baron and Dragon, like, they pretty much resign themselves to, like, letting Renegades dictate the game.
Yeah, Renegades just let them get that 5th Dragon. They don't want to fight them. Like, they're not
It
in...
only gets worse.
There's no inhibs down.
Yeah, it's a weird situation, right? Because Renegades don't really want to venture out because they are objectively like down in items and gold and...
Mash Bada Zephyr!
That's just the wrong choice. I would honestly just keep boots because the movement speed's important for yourself, so that you can keep distance. I would do distortion boots though, so I can flash. Yeah. Should have done distortion, Zerker Greaves. All right. And actually, Mabel shouldn't have gone Alacrity. Alacrity is literally useless on Callista. It doesn't do anything at all. It's not like actually useless, but like it doesn't help your hops. It's like you basically have no reason to buy it.
It doesn't help them mad hops.
It doesn't. No, you don't get. You can't dunk with Alacrity boots, dog.
That's
should have known. Whatever.
Mad ups.
Same thing, right? Aren't ups and hops the same thing? Basically.
I think one of them.
Oh god.
Crumbs.
That just happened. I mean,
Oh.
I would say probably worth for crumbs.
Yeah, that'll stave off for a bit.
Right, because
that'll be fine.
I think you outright lose the game if they get Dragon 5 plus Baron at the same time, so I think you kind of have to do that, but this seemed like a situation where, like...
Oh, I'm surprised that they're even going
So Shrimp should have ward hopped, kicked, and then flashed back over the wall.
Yeah, at that point, I'm really surprised that they even go for that Baron, because if you're Coast, why don't you just use 5th Dragon and start pushing?
Well,
like,
I mean, Coast had 5... Well, I guess they had it over the top of enemy Baron, but, like, they had 5 Dragon before and didn't push with it.
Like, you push, and then you go run to Baron after a while if it becomes your option.
I mean, the thing is... Yeah, but, they can't kill Baron faster, though. They have to go around the wall. If the sides were swapped, Coast could do that. But if you're sieging into red base, it's hard to get to Baron without, like, allowing a steal. You have to go around the wall, which gives your opponents time to turn around.
But now you have to do it anyway. Now you have to do it with them having Baron.
Well, you get to do it with them having 4 people alive, which is why they're doing this.
Okay, yeah. But
and at the end of the day, if you can guarantee you kill the jungler for Baron, that's still okay.
Okay.
5v4 is good enough.
I'll agree with that, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, so mechanical choice for Shrimp aside, like, let's see, so... oh yeah, so the reason that I don't think they could have gone for Dragon 5 Siege, turn around and do Baron, is one, they're sieging the top side of the map, which means they have to go around the wall, which gives time for them to collect. So unless you like play the ward game perfectly against a blue trinket, you can't like bait them in, and they have Rek'Sai, so you really can't ever do that kind of stuff to like bait them into like a Baron bait. And then because no one went for a defensive item, they have to always be afraid of Flash Alexar. So like the Sivir can't siege the turret, or the Orianna can't hit the turret. Like probably Orianna would be the one because she has Zonias. And she's like, or like maybe the Rise, but if they have to be afraid of like Flash Crumb's knockout Flash Alex ult, then they can't hit the turret safely.
That's the bad situation to be in.
Because
anyway.
they're against good enough wave clear. No, they could have gone for
But
split push.
you were split pushing for so long with Chris,
I mean, they probably could have just kept switching with Chris, which to be fair is also another option.
Double Baron banner.
Oh my god.
You can't touch these.
That's actually pretty funny.
You can't kill
And
these.
of course, they still have Baron while the Dragonfly's worn off, so you have like a little bit of time to make this happen. Wow, they got the turret. That's impressive. And matches at half. Like, you have to heal. like, Coast could theoretically lose the game by getting into the wrong fight and Mash getting one shot. And he has a freaking Zephyr, so he can't even move fast.
Pew pew.
I hate
Oh,
Zephyr.
Conquan, the hero.
Yeah, stopping shots.
Stopping some damage, yeah. Baron's off now, though, isn't it? Yeah, it's about to go off.
Not yet.
It's about to, though.
They're losing a lot of damage. Oh god, Conquan's getting chunked. Yeah, so that's... There's
There
actually,
it goes.
Yeah, Victor's more poke than I realized. Well, I guess when you use 6 items, it's a lot of damage. Ooh.
Oh, I would have shockwaved that.
Yeah, that would have worked.
Yeah. I guess it's a risk, though.
Yeah,
He doesn't have flash. No, it's fine.
Yeah,
You've done it
Shockwave
fast
would have
enough,
fine.
yeah.
I mean, it's
You'd
a
been
low
fine.
cooldown Shockwave. Everyone runs CDR per level blue, so it's like a 48-second cooldown.
Yeah, you would have been good.
Yeah, it would have been the right choice.
His last shockwave wasn't that great either.
His last Shockwave was 0 people. Yeah, it was 0 people, which is also part of the reason why it failed. Because you hold Shockwave, if you like hold the ball like on top of the turret, if you put it like at Victor's ult range, if he ever flash ults you, just Shockwave him and he dies.
Okay, 15 on Dragon. Man, 60-minute game? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so the problem is like Victor has good wave clear and Coast have pretty bad discipline around their sieges. Like, you're right about them split pushing, they could have done it, but at least mid turret's down now, so this is actually pretty easy.
Yeah, I just overall really like Coast's comp more.
Okay, here we go. Oh, that was a really
Alex,
good catch.
he's dead.
Yeah,
And
well, though.
who are you gonna kill?
Conquan.
Boom.
Really good Shockwave.
The peak at the Oriana flank.
Oh, wow, that
He
was
did
well
it.
played. No, okay, they're all dead. That,
Yeah.
yeah,
That was actually really
closer
good.
than it could have been.
Oh.
Shrimp, what are you doing, buddy? I mean, you're fine.
He's stopping backs.
That's true, actually. That's a good point. Close to
Maple-
clicking minion wave.
Yeah, Maple's
I
cutting
mean,
waves.
these guys could backdoor the entire base, right?
Ooh,
Yeah,
what?
these guys could backdoor the base.
Just stop Callista from getting back, and you're fine.
Because this cannon mini is going to break turret aggro, or the turret shield. And yeah, Chris should tank it.
Yep. Oh man.
Put the ball on Shrimp, go for it, don't be a pussy.
Be a man.
Why is... Okay, there we go. We're fine.
Yeah, they
could-
have one minion to break it. That's all they needed.
But on the second one has the shield.
Just
so we
kill
don't
it.
Kill. Chris is going to lose a lot of health if he has no frozen.
No,
heart.
didn't it already lose the shield from the minion walking
But
up?
So it comes back
I
after
don't know
about
if
5
it
seconds.
Okay, I didn't think I had the time to do that just
I
yet.
mean, it was completely fine. They got enough done. Okay, that's game.
Alright.
Wow. All right, GG. That's well played game.
Yeah, they just played. Well, 62 minutes.
I mean, okay,
Well played.
They won and they deserve to win. I'll say that.
What's Chris doing on the minimap?
Huh?
Chris left
Oh, I
the
paused the
game.
video already.
Chris left the game, so his guy just keeps running after the game is
Oh,
over.
it's still running. That's amazing. That's awesome.
uh,
Okay, I'm gonna switch my feedback to webcam.
yeah, okay, so I really like just Coast's draft overall. I feel like letting the Rise through ended up being a huge mistake.
Yep.
Because Shrimp just had Lee Sin to play, and he was fine on that champion, frankly. And then Crumbs didn't have as much impact, and he was late to stuff early. And then RNG became, because they didn't get an early lead, and they weren't able to shut down the Rise and stop him from taking off, or get Alex Each a suitable lead, because he's like 0-3 or something,
Yeah.
that they had to play from behind, and they weren't able to make any team fight moves.
Totally. agree.
Ever, in their favor. Yeah, Coast just controlled it.
Yeah, totally agree. It was.
Good steal, though. Good steal.
Yeah, it was a good steal, but yeah, Crumbs was invisible early game, despite being on Rek'Sai, who is supposed to be good early game. Coast managed to just like kill a turret 2v2, and then one good gank by Shrimp killed mid turret. So Coast got 2 turrets for 1 kill, and it was all because of the difference in jungle pressure, which is a big deal. Chris didn't kill a turret by himself, but like he just scaled up, and then by mid game he actually killed like 3 turrets. Well, not 3, but like.
He killed that one bottom.
He
yeah,
killed at
for
least
sure.
1 turret and then created even more pressure by himself, and he got a really good flank on Maple, which is really cool. Yeah, it just feels like
don't give Chris that champion.
Well, yeah, but and you're right, like RF is maybe a better opponent, and Renegades are obviously a better opponent than whoever Coast has played so far, because Coast haven't played C9T yet either. But basically, it just feels like Chris is. It seems to be he is obviously the best top laner and challenger, and by such a margin that he's creating leads on his own, like significant leads on his own.
Yeah,
which you see very rarely in competitive play. I feel
well,
like.
That's just because skill discrepancy in competitive play.
Absolutely,
let's just even look at RF, right? Like RF is a good player in solo queue. Like he's a very good player in solo queue, and he's good for competitive as well.
Sure.
But when it comes to just experience and it comes to these things where he has a pressure champion in a good matchup, the Rise is going to come out on top, and then it looks like a huge skill discrepancy, but also it's the tools that they have.
Yeah.
Like it kind of sucks, but yeah.
Sure. I have a hypothetical here. So Chris, he had a couple of good games on Coast in the LCS, but generally speaking, he was considered an outclassed top laner.
I think the only game they won was him carrying out Aurelia, right?
Yes, the only game they won was him like 11-2-11 or something like that. I think was the scoreline. So it's a multiple point question. So one is, Chris himself is not so outclassed that his LCS like win record is like fair to him, right? Like he is not the worst player in the LCS. He wasn't when he was in Coast. He wasn't when he was in Velocity. Like, but he has like the meme is he has the worst all-time LCS record with like more than 10 games, right? Because he was on Velocity and he was on Coast, both of which like failed really badly, which I think is slightly unfair to his skill levels as a player. I'm not saying he's like Zion Spartan tier or Quas tier or anything, but like he's literally the best top laner in NA Challenger, which means he's an LCS level top laner, right?
he's a bottom LCS at the
he's the 8th best top laner in LCS, but
it's a strange conundrum because when people look at top laners like, oh, that guy sucks. Well, when you watch the LCS, just keep in mind as a viewer that these are the top 10 teams.
Like look what Chris just did to people, and then look what happened to Chris, right? Like exactly. Sometimes people get better. And that happens, but
I also feel like it's good to keep in mind that when you watch the LCS and you're watching like the 10th place team, this is the 10th best top laner, whatever it is, 10th best top laner in North America.
Yeah.
Right. He's still top 10.
Yeah.
It's something that you do need to keep in mind when you transition it over to other stuff. And there's actually a point that I got distracted on, and somebody tweeted me about it, where I don't like the state of champion select at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like target banning somebody is pretty much impossible on red side. Like you can't really target ban somebody without sacrificing something extremely powerful over to them. The only people you really get to target ban without huge repercussions are top laners.
Okay, so you're basically saying like there are a specific number of specifically S tier champions, because keep in mind like this only matters if there is literally like one.
Yeah.
Right. If there was one double S champion, and in this case you're right, it's Rise.
Yeah.
If there was exactly one double S champion in the game, then like you have to ban the double S champion. And that's happened occasionally, right?
And like Alistar's up there, Shen's up there.
Right, but as soon as they're all tied though, it doesn't matter anymore. Because you get one, I get one, no one cares. Right? Like if Alistar and Shen are both equally good, or close enough that it doesn't matter, you can send 3 bans at Kayle, Aatrox, and Anivia.
And then
I get Shen and I get Alistar.
Well, I ban one of those as blue side.
Okay, then my third ban becomes the other one, right? Like if there's
but then you don't
two,
then you don't end up targeting banning the person that you want to.
Blue side has to. But blue side has to do this. So you're right. Like you're right that like if blue side plays that gimmick, then like you can no longer target ban, which is why I like why the new ban was last. Is like they were hoping to pinch a champion, and did so because they.
I
mean, you are right. Like red side cannot just like click done. We've target banned you because they can't first pick a champion. And you're right. Like you are correct.
In a fantasy world for bans, like I feel like bans should always be used to take away something from somebody's champion pool that you think is very scary, not just take away something that is powerful in the game.
Absolutely agree with you.
Like, I would love to see it when you can use it more strategically, and that's when we see it actually come out in like whenever people show up at MSI or these international competitions. And a great example is when SK went, right?
Yeah,
and it's like
all these Aatrox bans every single game.
Exactly, and it's like let's ban Forgiven out twice.
That too.
So that was something that never happened before, and then people's champion pools got tested. And then Fnatic versus Cloud9 at Worlds, when people banned High Out, and it's like nobody had ever tried banning High Out before.
That's true.
And then it worked. So people don't seem to take a lot of risks with target banning people until it's a big competitive like world stage match where these teams have never faced each other before, but they've had time to analyze what it is they want to ban. Like
Yeah, I do like that though. I think that's smart of teams to play that way.
I think they should. I think you should definitely try target banning people. Like what I think like right here was a great example of people testing Shrimp's champion pool and trying to force him onto Evelyn, but it turns out he has Lee Sin. So what if they had thrown another ban at him?
Sure.
Like, what if you'd taken the Azir away and you had banned the Lee Sin? Then you'd force him on Evelyn for sure. Or what if you had taken away all these bans and just went full Shrimp champion pool? Right?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Then,
I mean, and that's worth testing.
then would they first pick Rek'Sai? Then you get Ryze top and Echo jungle, and then what does Chris play? Like,
right,
yeah, like, yeah, it's very interesting. I feel like people aren't using target bans enough.
yeah. I mean, it's weird when you're like when you ban Azir and it's like, why'd you ban Azir? But if like both teams can play it, like who cares? And again, yeah, like unless the champion is literally like double S, where it is literally the best champion of the game by far, there's no reason to ban the champion on red side in general, because one goes over, and you can just you balance the number out such that you trade equally, because a ban is something that you have that is a benefit, right? A ban has, and we'll just make up arbitrary numbers, right? A ban is worth somewhere between 1 and 10 value, right? And if you ban something that both your mid laners play, that value is 1. Nothing happened. I mean, you got to make sure the game is played without Azir, but like you didn't gain anything. Whereas if I ban, Rek'Sai, and Crumb's Rek'Sai is a 6 and Shrimp's Rek'Sai is a 10, I got 4 value out of that Rek'Sai ban. That to me is the way bans should be done. And unless the champion is so strong that it must be first picked and the game ends, you shouldn't be spending bans on it unless you have a strategy in mind. Such as like, I'm gonna ban the counter picks to my AP Ezreal. Like blue side bans Sivir and Nautilus, and I don't know, pick who else is good against that, and then first picking Ezreal and being like, haha, Ezreal's now worth 15.
I am a little surprised at no AP Ezreal. Oh, I know why.
What?
It's because they locked in the Braum before the last pick of Victor.
Braum,
So you really don't want to
like,
pick it
pretty
into that.
much destroys Ezreal.
Yeah, you don't want to pick that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then I guess you'd have the Ryze point click WU after flashing.
Yeah, I mean, Ryze does a lot of good things.
Yeah, I just
Obviously a very
like the
strong
draft.
champion.
Yeah, I like the draft from Coast a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they did it right. They first picked Ryze, and they pretty much just grabbed powerful champions that
I'm
fit
excited.
their roles.
I'm excited for tomorrow. I want to see what happens when they swap sides.
Yeah.
You
guess. So here's what's going to happen. Coast will ban Ryze.
Probably.
And then the game is a lot closer. And the question is, like, right, Chris has been dominating everyone top lane, whether he's getting Ryze or not, but, like, is RF better than his other opponents by enough such that he can't silent him with Echo? Right? Like what does it take to stop Chris? I feel like Chris is actually the most important person on Coast, because he's getting his own leads, and he's part of the reason Coast is winning. I mean, like, Shrimp's very good, Mash is very good. Like, obviously this is a good team. They're 7-0 for a reason. But, like, Chris seems the most irreplaceable, in my opinion.
Is it irreplaceable, or is it the gap between him and the next best top laner is the largest? Or the next best laner is the largest?
Yeah, I think it's that, which means that, you now have a top laner that kills turrets for free is really hard to replace.
Gotcha.
Now, to be fair, like, Shrimp also might have that kind of gap as well, right? Like, who would they get if not Shrimp? I don't know, but last time it was Impaler. Impaler wasn't impressive. This time Shrimp is impressive. Like, clearly, like, that was a big disparity in terms of, like...
Yeah, I didn't know Shrimp...
Yeah, you didn't know Shrimp was good.
I didn't know who the fuck Shrimp was. I was like, this guy came out of nowhere. Oh, wait. I'm not even using Windows Media Player. My mic went up again.
That's awesome.
This is BS.
Yeah.
Regardless. Still, it should have gone up, because I had no clue who Shrimp was. Just some Korean import that ended up crushing it.
Yeah.
And this guy's never played on a competitive team before.
Twitch chat said, what will it take to stop Chris being an LCS Kappa? I'm sure, yeah. If you're the best player in your pool of players and you get a better pool of players, you definitely get worse comparatively. Absolutely. And, Coast will need new tools if they make the LCS. I mean, right now, I guess they're technically poised to win Challenger. They're the winningest team.
Yeah, it still depends on tomorrow. Because if they split the series 1-1, which honestly I hope they do, because I just want to see this. I want to see this game again. I want to see a third game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. It was definitely a good match. Coast, I mean, they definitely made some mistakes, right? They gave away a Baron. They gave away a Baron steal. They, I think some of the
Yeah.
itemization, like there were definitely some definite itemization mistakes and some debatable mistakes that like I don't like, but you know, it's not necessarily it was wrong. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I feel like both teams
and they
need to
didn't slow
work.
push late game.
Yeah. I feel like both teams need to work on coverage, whether it's in fight, how you're spreading your team, or how you're approaching fights as well. Because even when you're stealing a Baron,
Hmm.
just being able to group up and say we're going to take a fight afterwards, or put yourself in a position to actually react to the team,
Yeah,
is a really good thing. Like Crumbs got caught out that one time, and they were lucky that when the Sivir ulti was popped, everybody chased Crumbs. Then Kong made the right move
yeah.
to ulti 4 people or 3 people.
Hmm.
Like if everybody had just turned around and had been predicting or at least communicating with Kong that was going to happen, then I think that would have been a much better fight for Coast. Just
Definitely agree.
the way that they're approaching these fights it looked like they were just glad they could get a fight in the first place. They weren't thinking through how they were going to execute on the fight once it started.
Yeah,
But the fights ended up being very entertaining.
they were entertaining fights, and there were some really good plays, and there were some definitely missed positions, but
Like I want to throw this out there because
yeah,
it's like when you have a Victor, his zone control is so good, and when you have an Orianna, her choke point control as well is really good. But we never saw teams using that.
true. Orianna didn't protect her team by having the ball out and then hitting the turret and saying, "I dare you to walk forward."
Yeah, and I think the best
Victor did
person
that though. Coast
yeah
played pretty scared
yeah
because of him.
yeah, and I think the best person who played around this was Chris because the way he was getting into the fights
Hmm.
on Rise. And the fact that he just like blew up Maple one time by flashing over a wall and
Yeah, that was
100 to
super good.
0ing him in a route.
That was
Is
absolutely good by him.
I'm glad we nerfed Rise.
Hmm.
Uh, he's legit just buffed this patch because AP items and the ones that he buys.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I think
he's
he
still gonna be
was
banned.
like good before. I mean, I know the competitive
Yeah.
teams were like pretty much 100% pick banning him, but I think he's like definitely ridiculous now.
Yeah. I'm wondering just what else is gonna be ridiculous because even just AP Ezreal
Hmm.
getting a Rylai's eventually, or a Ziggs getting a Rylai's, or a Leandri's, it just seems like it's a team fighting. Like just imagine a Ziggs throwing an ultimate for 40% slow and chunking people to half.
Yeah,
It's like that just
sure.
sounds like a great way to start a fight.
Yeah, I think Riley's is like probably the big winner here.
And then another thing is that it looked like Renegades were just trying to pinch Shrimp's champion pool so hard that they ended up even giving up Sivir and Rise to the
Yep.
same team.
Hmm. And I mean, technically, there's not anything specifically wrong with losing one game,
Yeah.
because if you win the second one and you win the tiebreaker, you still end up first place. So, you know, they threw game one and there was a test and said, okay, now we know, let's move on. And you know, I can't, I don't mind the science that Renegades went through there, but they have to, you know, make sure they fix the mistakes for next time.
But it's a trial and error thing. You can't know 100% that his Lee Sin is going to be something he goes to.
Well, that's why I said it. That's why I said the
Yeah,
science
I
is
love
worth it,
Yep.
right? It was there to figure stuff out. Yes, they gave away Rise. Okay,
Yep.
they
Mistakes
lost
are
a
part
game
of
which
the
they
process.
can make up for. It's fine.
Yep.
Yep. All right. I think we covered the game well enough. We had probably 20 minutes of talking over a screenshot of picks and bans, so I think we're gonna
I
cut
think
the
it's- I think it's
VoD
worth
review.
it.
Yeah, sure. I'll probably end up cutting some of this out of the VoD at the end because it's more